Hello, thank you for watching Bible Words in Hebrew again. My name is Elske Vaal and I am a Dutch teacher. Last week I promised we would discuss the word Tselem, and we find this in Genesis 1 verse 26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." The word Tselem, we see that there's two words that are used here to say that we're created to take after God. The word image and likeness, and so today we will be studying Tselem, which is translated as image. If you already know a bit about Hebrew, in the left corner I put some grammar. You can see the bait. The word here starts with bait, which means in, and ends with nun vav, which means our, in our image. In the dictionary I found these meanings of the word: first, image or likeness, or even idol, and shade, phantom, or nothingness. Those are all meanings of the word Tselem. Hebrew words have lots of sides, different colors depending on where the light falls on the word, and that is why we are going to study different things about the word. We are going to study the letters, and we are going to look up some verses in the Bible to really get what this word is about. Well, when we look at the first two letters of Tselem, we have the word tsel. And tsel means shadow, or protection, shelter, or transitoriness. And we will also be focusing a bit on the second meaning, protection or shelter. Well, Tselem, the three letters of the word in the Hebrew, all letters have their own special meaning. They're like characters. And Tzadeh, the first letter, Hebrew we read from right to left. The first letter has a numerical value of 90, and it means fishhook, righteousness, or righteous one. It's also the first letter of the Hebrew word tzaddik. Tzaddik is a righteous man, or tzedakah. Tzedakah means philanthropy, and actually it's just the Hebrew word for righteousness. Taking care of poor people is what righteous people should do. And well, what does this have to do with fishhook, which is the first meaning? A righteous person takes a fishhook and fishes his fellow people out of the water when they are about to drown in their problems. Second letter is lamed, numerical value of 30, and lamed means ox goad, stimulant, or to learn or to study. To learn or to study, we sometimes need a stimulus, like a deadline or something, to get going. And well, this is also to do with lamed. And in the end we find the closing mem, and mem stands for water, for time in the desert, for the passing of time, and desert time is waiting time, waiting on God, waiting for deliverance, for the entrance of the promised land. And it is important that during those waiting times we learn to be righteous. We stay righteous. We're not focusing on our own problems or the things that we don't have. We are created in the likeness of God, and that also gives us responsibility to be righteous and to take care of other people. Well, we just read Genesis 1 verse 26. This is also the first mention of this word in the Bible, and in Hebrew Bible study there's the law of first mentions. The first mention is very important and tells us a lot about the word. Let's look back. It is where God said, when he planned to make man, that he wanted to make man in their image. In Genesis we find this word quite a lot. First in chapter 1, 3 times. One time in verse 26 and twice in verse 27. And we also find it in Genesis 9 verse 6, and we'll be discussing that later. One thing, in Genesis 1 verse 26, God says that the people should have dominion over the other living creatures. At that time, in time of creation, humans were not allowed to eat animals yet. Animals were not given to them. Humans are allowed to eat fruit of the trees, but not animals. And I'm not trying to say that you should be a vegetarian or something. I'm not, although I don't eat a lot of meat. But what I want to say is, ruling over the animals does not mean cruelty, does not allow us to be cruel to animals. I just wanted to put that in. Genesis 9 verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Why are men not allowed to kill each other? Because when we kill another human being, we are killing the image of God in them. That's the reason that is given in Genesis 9 verse 6. Psalm 39 verse 6a. Surely every man walks about like a shadow, surely they busy themselves in vain. Shadow has, well, kind of a negative meaning here, something that is easily gone. The word Tselem can also mean idol, and I put a few scriptures here if you want to look them up. Those are scriptures where Tselem is used to mean idol. Back to Tsil. First mention of this word is Genesis 19 verse 8b. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. It is the story of Job. No, I'm sorry, story of Lot and Abraham. Lot, who lives in Sodom, and the city where he lives is about to be turned upside down, and the angels are coming to save Lot and his family. And Lot hid the angels, and he says they came under the shadow of my roof. So shadow here, Tsil, is a protection. We also find this meaning in Psalm 17 verse 8. Keep me as the apple of the eye, hide me under the shadow of thy wings. Yeah, a safe place with God. Also, we know that hiding with God and being under the shadow of his wings does not mean that there can be no harm in our lives. I think a lot of us know this all too well. But the image of God that was created in us will be protected. The essence that is us, that is our soul, that God put in us will be protected when we are hidden under the shadow of His wings. Other verses where we find things like this is Psalm 91. I also put in a verse of the New Testament, 2 Corinthians 4, verse 16 to 18. Then a name. Here we have a name of a man, Tselem, and Tselem is mentioned in Exodus 31, and it is a very, very special name. When we take it apart, we first find Beit, which means in, then Tsil, well, now we know, means shadow or image, and then Il, and Il is a word for God. So his name, the name of this Tselem, means in, image of in, shadow of God. And God says about this man and another man, and I, behold, I have given with him Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, and in the hearts of all that are wise-hearted I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I commanded thee. I'm sorry for the typos, people. God put wisdom in his heart, and he made something wonderful. He made the tabernacle in the desert. Beautiful artwork, very extraordinary. Can you imagine to make something like this in the desert? But he was so talented, and I think this was because he was so close to God, and God was able to put all those things in his heart and to make him so creative. We are made in the image of God. We are creative. We are able to make beautiful things. So please, stay close to God, your Creator, and let him show you what you can do in this world. This was it for now. I hope to post a new video next Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please share, please put your thumbs up. We would like to reach as many people as possible. If you want to contact me, you can send me an email, or you can visit my website www.elskevaal.blog. Thank you so much. Have a peaceful Saturday and a very good Sunday. Lied Trout.